Hello all, Shadwell here, ready to talk about the next film in my collection, The Fast and the Furious from 2001. It's the first film in the Fast and the Furious collection, is directed by Rob Cohen, and stars Vin Diesel and Paul Walker. Oh dear. Talk about confusion. When I saw at the end of this film that it had been directed by Rob Cohen, I mistakenly thought it was the same guy that directed Chicago and Memoirs of a Geisha, but I looked it up almost immediately and realized I was confusing Rob Cohen and Rob Marshall. Phew. I mean, there's nothing saying that an Oscar-nominated director can't have a fun side project every once in a while, but when I started looking at Rob Cohen's films like 1987's The Running Man, 2005's Stealth, and 2008's The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, I started wondering about his side hustle, and that was around when I realized that Rob Cohen and Rob Marshall were completely different people with completely different filmographies. This is also the first film in the 8-film The Fast and the Furious 4K DVD collection that I own. Back then, there were only 8 films in the series, and I wanted to get in on the series because James Wan had directed, I think, the 8th one? And so I bought this collection, not realizing that I could have just waited a couple years and they would be releasing additional films and additional collections, as there is a 10-film collection as well as a 9-film collection. But so far there are only 10 films of the franchise and 1 spin-off, and I own them all, so let's start talking about them with the film that started it all, Point Break Redo. I mean, The Fast and the Furious. But on that note, let's just start with that The Fast and the Furious is just a rebooted Point Break, but with cars and racing instead of skydiving and surfing, so far. I'll admit I've only seen the first 2 films of the franchise, the 9th and the Hobbs and Shaw spin-off, so I have no idea what sort of hijinks Dom and his crew will get up to in their franchise, although I saw 2 of them go to space in the 9th installment, so it's safe to say that nothing is off the table. I am happy to say that even though it's a ripoff of Point Break, that didn't make me like The Fast and the Furious any less. I mean, there is some deep sexual tension between the Vin Diesel and Paul Walker character that I hope is answered sometime soon, but overall, it's a fun film. Not as fun as the 9th installment was, as this is still a little grounded in reality. A little bit. I'm going to give The Fast and the Furious a straight B. No, wait, the hot under the collar character uses the F slur with a hard T in the beginning of the film, so that B becomes a C. Sorry, The Fast and the Furious, hopefully you're mindful of homophobia in the future, because that shit turns me right off. Tomorrow it's back to the 50 excellent 80s films with the film The Day Time Ended. Sounds intriguing. See y'all then.